Edwards
you ready?
in the solid black.
Let's go.
Luca Iovine in the black with a bit of white trim. Iovine really looking to make his mark here on Cage Warriors.
Edwards looking substantially bigger than the Italian in this one, though.
Well, it has to be said, Josh, that Edwards did miss weight yesterday to the tune of 3 pounds. He went through a pretty torrid weight cut, and unfortunately the weight just wasn't coming off. He went and did a final bath and actually put almost a pound on in the bath. So it really did stop coming out of him yesterday. So let's see how that plays into this fight. Is he going to perhaps be a little bit depleted, or is he going to have that size advantage? We'll have to wait and see.
Good chopping kick from the Italian. Also found the mark with a couple of strikes up top. Like the work rate from both guys, although you've got to say a bit more of the power going. Oh, that's a great combination from Chris Edwards.
Oh, I think Edwards got caught on the way in there, though, Josh.
Yeah, he did. He ate a left hook, and it just buckled him slightly.
Well, we know Edwards can take a licking and keep on ticking. And for Iovine, a very different kind of opponent to Nathaniel Wood. Wood, a real power puncher. Edwards, much more of a volume striker.
You can see that with the way he's throwing his punches. Not quite as much zip, but you know, enough of them to really do some damage. And he put a fantastic leg kick into the middle of that surging combination. But Iovine looking to wrestle this one here.
And the referee, Rich Mitchell, just warning Luca there for grabbing the cage.
Both these guys are very solid on the ground, so it's going to be a case of if one of them can put it there. We know Edwards has a very good guard if he does get taken down.
Fingers out of that fence.
And again, the Italian warned for fingers in the fence. Big night for Italian MMA, Josh. We've got 3 Italians on the card, all from different camps.
Fence, I will not tell you again.
Yeah, they're all trying to follow the way of Pedasoli Jr., of course, appeared in a main event on Cage Warriors recently and then immediately called up to the UFC as a result of that win.
Stefano Paterno, of course, challenging for the vacant Cage Warriors welterweight title later on this evening.
Stop! Stop!
So the referee just deeming this a little bit static.
Time out! Time out!
Oh, I think it's going to warn him.
Called here. This is going to be a point.
To the fence, you grab it. It will not happen again. Do you understand me? The next time you do it, I'm going to take points away.
Oh, he's going to get away with it.
You lose the position. Let's go.
So he's lost the position. He won't lose a point. But Iovine are going to have to be very careful now, Josh.
Good knee up the middle from Edwards and short shots on the inside.
Iovine connecting with her right hand there as Edwards powers forward. And Josh, Edwards is one of those guys who will make it a dogfight and he will go to a decision. So losing a point against a fighter like Chris Edwards could be crucial.
Uphill struggle the whole way. You really don't want to be on the back foot that early. Iovine trying to frame on the inside here. Edwards with the overhook, and that's a beautiful frame from the Italian.
Great work from the Duke there.
Yeah,
now looking to pull that single leg off the cage.
Yeah, it's can he complete this? Because the whole time he had this previous position up against the cage, he didn't have brilliant head position. You see, he's just let Edwards get his forehead on the inside there. And Iovine, being the smaller guy, should be able to drop that level quicker in those clinch exchanges.
Edwards in the centre of the cage here, just under 2 minutes to go in this first of 3 5-minute rounds. And again, the combination shots coming from Edwards. Let's see what the Italian has to reply with.
Yeah, I mean, you see the Italian's just, because that little reach disadvantage, he's got that extra bit of work to do to find his way into striking range every time. And Edwards is throwing with enough volume and, you know, he's keeping the combinations going. He's not throwing one strike and stopping. But the Italian's got to be a little bit worried.
Edwards going in with a elbow there, but Iovine able to make the connection.
Yeah, Iovine's going to reap this leg out and complete this position. Edwards needs to, there we go, he gives up that headlock grip. Mount for Iovine.
Just a minute left on the clock. Edwards looking to come out the back door here. But that's a solid position for the Italian, Josh.
It really is, and he's a little bit high here, though. Edwards is going to try and shake him off. He's going to have to watch his arms on the way down, although you can see pretty deep hooks for Iovine here. Is going to keep him glued on the back. I mean, you know, oh, well. Well slipped by Edwards.
And if Edwards can clear this guard, look for him to do some serious damage with elbows in close there, Josh.
Yeah, he's looking to get low, control the hips. A bit more of a north-south position here.
Get your toes out of that fence. toes out the fence.
I mean, it's very hard to not have your toes dangle through the fence when you're trying to push off it. But of course, sort of keep them pulled back and drive with the heel.
Final 10 seconds of the round. Let's see if Edwards can get 1 or 2 elbow shots in, but a great reversal from the Duke.
Yeah, nice bit of wrestling. Got his underhook really high, and there's some blood coming from somebody.
It's Kris Edwards' eye, I believe, that has either a cut or a graze. I'm sure we'll be able to get a closer look at that in a moment's time. And yeah, the cut man working on Kris Edwards here. It doesn't look to be anything too troubling, but Josh, let's take a look back at some of the action. Here was that blistering combination from the Welshman, and a huge right hook.
Yeah, that very nearly changed the dynamic instantly. And it's a beautiful combination. You just got a little bit, you know, you chase the wounded tiger, and something can go wrong, and Iovine jumped on him. I mean, really even round for the judges to have to deal with.
And again, we see the fingers through the cage there. And a very, very stern warning from referee Rich Mitchell.
So I can't quite see the cut placement on the face of Kris Edwards. I think it might just be just in the eyebrow. So, you know, let's see if that opens up as we move forward in this fight.
It's on the right eyebrow, very close to the bridge of the nose, I believe, Josh. It doesn't look like it's bleeding heavily, and probably not going to trouble Kris Edwards unless the Duke can open that one up a little bit.
Well, if Edwards surges forward, that right hook is waiting.
A great first round here at Cage Warriors 95. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of the same for these two all-action fighters.
Beautiful transition to the body from Kris Edwards, but he did get a left hook back.
We know Kris Edwards can do this all day and keep this level of output up, so it's going to be interesting to see if that weight cut, which didn't go completely to plan, is going to affect that as this fight goes deeper, but certainly showing no signs of fatigue thus far, Josh.
Ooh, these are going to have to be very well-placed elbows. And Kris Edwards earns the takedown, but definitely some damage in doing so.
Very, very slight amount of curvature on those elbows, but that's all you need, and the referee in a great position to make sure those were all above board.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking target area as much as 12-6. I mean, they looked very close to the back of the head, but this is a fantastic, almost crucifix position in half guard for Kris Edwards.
Edwards dangerous with the elbows in these close quarters and exchanges.
Yeah, just wearing on Iovine here, and he's really got that arm pinned. Although this could be good guard retention for the Italian. He's starting to sneak that leg back underneath.
And the corner issuing approval to Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards staying very, very tight in this half guard. You can see he's ready to grab the hips every time, gripping up around the back. The head is staying nice and tight. I mean, he's really not giving the Italian much space to move at all.
Positive stuff here from Edwards. After a very close first round, he's certainly putting a few points on the board here in the second.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Iovine's given up that underhook grip. The right underhook of Edwards is controlling. There's the head control as well. Put those two together, if Edwards can grip his hands, and it's complete upper body lockdown on Iovine. It's going to make it very hard for him to move. Really, the fact that Iovine can't recover that left arm is what's making this pass a possibility for Kris Edwards, although he's going to run into the cage here.
It looks like that cut may be opened ever so slightly. Doesn't look to be a particularly deep cut though, Josh. More of just a scrape there. It's not bleeding profusely, so it's probably not going to cause Edwards that many issues at this stage.
No, I'm sure Edwards will be disappointed that Iovine has a closed guard back. It was really the fact that the fence was in the way to help the Italian recover. We're going to see if he can attack off his back. Good short elbow. Trying to climb those legs a little bit higher.
Let's see what Iovine can do here from this guard position. Will he be looking to attack or just to get back to his feet?
Well, he hasn't shown any intention to stand up as of yet. He's just throwing those short shots. And there we go, looking for the armbar, easily countered by Edwards.
Got to watch the up kicks though, and Edwards going to let the Italian stand up. Edwards looking to use that reach and volume advantage.
Yeah, really good passage of play for Kris Edwards. He's finding some excellent strike zones now. The
Italian, it seems, still looking for the big single shots. Spinning back fist from Edwards. We've seen him use that to great effect before. Kicking to the body now.
He's got a circle here. He doesn't want to get backed up too much against the cage.
Especially when those big uppercuts come in as he dips the head.
Much better low kicks for the Italian. Both these guys being very heavy on the lead leg now. That's what's opening up those kicks.
Looking to dip and throw that Russian hook there was Luca Iovine. Iovine with a spinning back fist.
You know, I really like that knee that Edwards threw a moment ago. Stepped in as though he was going to throw a jab. Shoots from a long way on the outside. He's on a single here. He's got to control.
That's one. Keep going, keep going.
Wow, this is a very interesting position. Let's see if Edwards can recover that arm and turn his hip around. He can't let that ankle go.
And I think the referee let that one continue because Edwards did get the takedown, but we saw the referee indicate there that's 1 point taken away from Luca Iovine, and that, Josh, could be crucial in this kind of fight.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say this round is going Chris Edwards' way anyway, so he looks for the guillotine here.
Edwards looking for the submission.
Yeah, he did a good job of reaching around over the shoulder and craning his head out from that one.
Final few seconds of the round.
I mean, Edwards looks the worse for wear here, but that second round was very much all of his.
From the blue corner.
And the referee just confirming to the judges that's 1 point taken. And Josh, that could be absolutely fundamental to how this bout is scored, because that's essentially a 10-8 round for Chris Edwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if the judges deem that Edwards won that first round, this is out of reach for Iovine without stoppage. It'd be interesting. I mean, I don't speak Italian, but it'd be interesting to know what his corner are telling him. Edwards breathing a bit heavy and having that cut attended to. We saw when this went to the ground in that round, the positioning and control of Chris Edwards was just a cut above Iovine's. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. His ground and pound mixed in was excellent. Really good round for the Welshman.
Yeah, that cut's not going to trouble Chris Edwards. It doesn't look that big, and the cutman doing some great work here between rounds. As we see in the corner there, Jack Tank Shaw. He's got the biggest fight of his career coming up 29th of September in Cardiff. He'll fight for the Cage Warriors bantamweight world title, recently vacated by Nathaniel Wood. Look out for an opponent to be announced soon for the Tank, Jack Shaw.
Nice parry on the backhand from Edwards, but he does eat that right hook. It's been a good weapon for Iovine, big kind of swinging baseball punch over the top.
He's looking like he's been relying on these big power punches more and more, but if it only takes one, then it only takes one, and who knows better than that than Luca Iovine.
Yeah, you see Edwards, you know, he ate a couple of big punches there, and he wanted to just keep the range, so going to the front kick and the teep.
Nice leg kick there from Edwards.
The assortment of punches from Edwards is what's setting him apart.
Oh, nice knee from Edwards.
Yeah, and that rear knee again. But the Italian's on the back here. Kimura attempt from Edwards if he can get that arm through. That's what he's looking for. And there he goes. Let's see if he looks to throw. Well, switching for a more traditional defense here.
You're going to have to be very careful with those fingers in the cage.
Yeah, getting some good torque on the knee of Edwards here. But you can see the post of Chris Edwards. He does not want to give that up.
Edwards throwing a short elbow there. Oh, that's a knee to the head.
Of a grounded opponent.
Doctor.
He had a knee on the ground that makes him.
Go over there.
He saw the hand. I think what happened
over there
is the Italian saw the hand come off the mat and thought that was the all clear.
I mean, yeah, that was, well, it's always been the case that if you've got a knee or you know, you're down in that way, it doesn't matter how many hands you've got. But the rule changes were brought in to stop people being on both feet and lifting the hand and putting it down again to draw the foul. So what the referee's explaining here is that Edwards had a knee down. Doesn't matter where his hands are. And we'll take a look at it now, Josh.
A hard shot.
Oh, so unfortunately that camera angle, I can't quite see, but it does look like Edwards is grounded on one knee.
2 points.
2 points taken away by Rich Mitchell.
2 points.
For a deliberate foul.
Go back over there for me, please.
Well, I think this is the first time, Brad, that I've commentated an MMA fight and seen 3-point deductions.
Are you ready to continue? Let's go. Time in.
And Josh, you mentioned it between the second and third rounds, but surely now this fight is out of reach of the Italian unless he gets the finish.
Yeah, there's no question. He's got to get the finish, and even if he does, it's going to be marred by those rule infractions. But he's got nothing to lose here. He has no choice but to push forward with just complete abandon. He's got 3 minutes to work.
This is not the sophomore performance that the Italian wanted, but he's going for the finish here.
Well, I like the way he folded that elbow over the top on the inside. Knew he was too close for the baseball punch, so turned it into an elbow.
Stop time. Over there, Kris.
And a low blow there from Kris Edwards.
Over here for me.
Didn't look to be intentional. It looked like the Italian walked onto it.
Yeah, just that inside cut kick. You know, it's one of those ones that's very hard to always find the target area, especially if your opponent's moving forward. Unintentional, but Iovine is going to get a chance to recover, and I think we might be in for a blistering 3 minutes from the Italian here.
Well, the Italian's got 5 minutes, Josh, and does he take that 5 minutes now, take a breather, gather his thoughts?
Control your shots, I understand.
Or does he jump straight back into it and keep that momentum up? Oh, our question's been answered.
Short break.
Straight back to the action here at Cage Warriors 95. Luca the Duke Iovine taking on Kris Des Edwards.
I mean, Edwards has got to know that all he has to do is not get submitted here. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays this as well. I mean, still looking to get stuck in and throw the shots. Not really backing off, which is commendable.
Oh, Edwards has never been one to shy away from a fight. All the times we've seen him here on Cage Warriors.
But I think those body shots hurt Edwards.
And the Italian pouncing here, Josh.
Yeah, he may have just caught the liver with one of those kicks and shut Edwards down a little bit. He can't afford to languish against the cage here, though. We're going to complete this takedown. We've already seen Edwards will control the wrist and post again, though.
The concern etched in the faces of the Italian's coaches in the opposite corner.
That's a good knee this time.
Nice elbow over the top from the Italian. And what a story this would be if he could come back from a 3-point deficit to score a finish. Kris Edwards very much still in this fight, though.
Yeah, the corner of Kris Edwards are calling for him to just keep the rangefinders out there, which is absolutely the right thing to do. I mean, you know, he doesn't need to take any risks. He can just stay at distance, stay on the outside.
Iovine is attacking that body on the right-hand side of Edwards. He's looking to aim some of those shots there. Watch the left kick of the Italian.
His kicks have been a good weapon for him. But, you know, they're usually something that takes, particularly kicks to the body and the legs, something that takes damage over time. And time is something the Italian does not have right now. I wonder if Iovine is running out of a gas tank here.
Nice knee from Kris Edwards.
Well, Edwards sinks onto a guillotine, and if he can lock him up in some form of controlling guard here, it could be very awkward for Iovine.
Oh, the Italian just pops his head out. We know that Edwards has got a great guard, Josh.
No, triangle's coming. Triangle from that butterfly guard. Edwards is completely set up for this. That overhook, that shin on the bicep. And that's a good switch from Iovine.
Edwards really not fighting like a guy with a comfortable 3-point lead in this fight, Josh.
No, absolutely not. But you know, he's got good enough chops on the ground that he can negate most of what the Italian's going to do here. So, and here's the closed guard. I mean, 20 seconds, double overhooks. You know, we're not going to see this stood up by the referee. So I think this is going to be the end of the fight.
Edwards with the body triangle there. And it's going to be a last few shots. A big elbow from the Italian and a forearm shiver.
I mean, good fight IQ from Edwards at the end there. I don't think anyone can really question him getting stuck into that. The Italian can raise his hands all he wants, but I think it's mathematically unlikely that he's won this one.
If he'd have won every round, it'd still be a draw, Josh. The grabbing of the fence and the knee to the head, which we're going to see now.
So there you go, clearly downed with the knee and the foot on the floor.
And that wasn't a love tap either, Josh. That was a hard shot.
Yeah, a lot of concussive force, even to a blocked hand.
Let's take a look now at the liver kicks from the Italian.
Oh, yeah.
Left leg, beautiful shot. And you see instantly Edwards retreating there, Josh. And if that second one had landed, well.
I mean, there's always a delayed reaction when you strike the body like that. You know, it takes a second for sort of the toxins to burst out of the liver and really kind of like shock the system.
It takes a second for your body to realise how horrible it is.
Yeah, I think, look, Chris Edwards won that second round, I think, on balance anyway. So fairly confident in saying that this is going to go the way of Chris Edwards. The best Iovine could probably hope for is a draw, but he'd have had to completely won every round. So stranger things have happened, though, Brad.
They certainly have. One of the hallmarks of mixed martial arts, of course, is that anything can and often does happen. There's going to be a rather unique scorecard, I would imagine. If there are any fans of scorecard watching out there amongst you, keep an eye on this one, as our MC Andy Friedlander in the cage will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 28-26, 29-25, and 28-26 in favour of your winner. By unanimous decision, Kris Edwards.
Well, it was never going to be in doubt, and it was a solid performance regardless, Josh. You know, he didn't just win that one based on the point deductions for my money.